You need to implement AS9100. We'll guide you step by step. Welcome to Episode 5 of the AS9100 Quality Management System Implementation Series. In this masterclass, we'll turn the standard's requirements into an approved, controlled quality policy that a manufacturing organization can actually use. Before we write anything, let's be clear about why the quality policy matters. It is the foundation of the quality management system, not a marketing slogan. It sets the organization's quality direction, makes top management's commitment visible, and gives that direction authority across the company. From there, it guides quality objectives, process indicators, audits, management review, and continual improvement. In other words, the policy connects leadership's intent to the way the system actually operates. With that foundation in place, let's look precisely at Clause 5.2. Under Clause 5.2.1, top management shall establish, implement, and maintain the quality policy. It must be appropriate to the purpose and context of the organization and support its strategic direction. It must provide a framework for setting quality objectives, include a commitment to satisfy applicable requirements, and include a commitment to continual improvement of the quality management system. Clause 5.2.2 then explains how the policy must operate. It must be available and maintained as documented information, communicated, understood, and applied within the organization, and available to relevant interested parties as appropriate. Now we can translate those requirements into 4 practical building blocks. Begin with company identity. Who are we and what do we provide? Next, define the customer commitment. What can customers count on us to deliver? Then add the aerospace priorities the organization genuinely owns, such as product safety, conformity, delivery, and compliance. Finally, include a clear commitment to continual improvement. Together, these 4 ideas turn the language of the standard into a policy that sounds like and belongs to the company. Once the 4 building blocks are clear, write the policy body one idea at a time. Start by identifying the organization and its products or services, then commit to customer and other applicable requirements. Add only the aerospace priorities the organization can truly support, such as product safety, conformity, or dependable delivery. Complete the body by committing to continual improvement of the quality management system and by providing a framework for measurable quality objectives. When the statement is finished, place it in the controlled policy format. Keep numerical targets in the objectives themselves rather than locking them into the policy. The commitment to continual improvement cannot remain an abstract promise. It has to become visible through the system. Risk-based thinking, competent people, and effective training help the organization anticipate and prevent problems. Internal audits and key indicators show how processes are performing. Customer feedback and management review help the organization learn, while corrective action addresses nonconformities and adverse trends when they arise. Taken together, this evidence shows whether processes and the quality management system are actually getting stronger. These mechanisms support improvement, but they should not be treated as one rigid sequence. That improvement evidence also shows how the policy connects business strategy to daily operations. Strategy establishes direction and priorities. The quality policy translates that direction into commitments. Quality objectives and process measures then make those commitments measurable, while indicators, audits, feedback, and corrective action provide operational evidence. Management review brings the chain together by evaluating continuing suitability, resources, performance, and improvement priorities. The result is a controlled line from strategy through policy and measurable evidence to review and continual improvement. With that connection understood, the organization can choose the aerospace commitments that genuinely fit its context. These may include product safety, product conformity, on-time delivery, customer satisfaction, risk-based thinking, regulatory compliance, and counterfeit part prevention when applicable. These are meaningful aerospace expectations, but the standard does not require every phrase to appear literally in every quality policy. The right approach is to include only commitments the organization can truthfully own, explain, measure, and apply. That brings us to 5 common mistakes. First, avoid a generic mission statement that could belong to almost any company. Second, do not replace real commitments with promotional language. Third, make sure the policy connects to the organization's direction and its quality objectives. Fourth, include the commitments to applicable requirements and continual improvement. And fifth, do not release a policy that employees cannot connect to their own work. If any of these weaknesses appear, rewrite the policy before release. Keep it concise, specific, usable, and linked to measurable objectives. Now we can bring the pieces together as one coherent policy statement. The finished policy is not a stack of separate ingredients. It is a unified commitment that identifies the organization, addresses customer and other applicable requirements, connects quality culture and risk-based thinking to controlled processes, and commits to continual improvement. The model shown here is deliberately company-neutral, so replace the organization placeholder and adapt every commitment to the organization's real products, services, risks, priorities, and strategic direction. At this point, the policy body is complete. The next step is to place it in a controlled document that can be approved, released, maintained, and reviewed. Here is the missing final deliverable, a recognizable, controlled quality policy. At the top, the header identifies the organization, the policy title, Clause 5.2, the document code, revision, issue date, and page. The blue frame contains the statement people will read, display, and use. Below it, top management approval makes accountability visible, and the maintenance statement confirms that the policy is implemented, communicated, made available as appropriate, and reviewed at planned intervals for continuing suitability, adequacy, and effectiveness. The footer repeats the document's controlled identity. The exact format may vary, but the released policy must always be identifiable, current, approved, and controlled. The placeholders shown here are for teaching only. The real document must carry the organization's own identity and approved information. Before release, verify both parts of the deliverable, the policy statement and the controlled document that carries it. First, confirm that the policy fits the organization and supports its strategic direction. Next, make sure it provides a framework for measurable quality objectives and includes commitments to applicable requirements and continual improvement. Then inspect the control fields: title, code, revision, issue date, page, approval, and current status. Finally, confirm that the policy will be communicated, made available as appropriate, and reviewed for continuing suitability. When all 5 checks pass, the policy is ready for top management approval and controlled release. Now it is your turn to produce the real deliverable. Begin by defining the organization, its products or services, its customers, and its strategic direction. Use that context to draft one cohesive statement with the required commitments. Verify the statement against AS9100 Clause 5.2 and against the organization's actual context. Then place it in a controlled one-page format with document identity, revision date, page, review, and ownership fields. Finally, obtain top management approval, release the current version, communicate it, and schedule its review. The result should be an approved and released quality policy, not a collection of disconnected ingredients. We have now completed Roadmap Step 4 by showing how to build an effective quality policy. In the next episode, we move to Roadmap Step 5. Interested parties and the context of the organization, where we will identify the internal and external issues, needs, and expectations that shape the quality management system.